Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Euroscience Open Forum 2020. My name is Philippe Mengal. I am the Executive Director of the BBIJU, Bio-Based Industry Joint Undertaking, and I will moderate the session today, this session on municipal solid waste as an opportunity for new business model in the circular economy. I am not alone today. I am very honored to welcome three speakers, experts in the field of municipal solid waste management and valorization. The first speaker will be Berta Gonzalvo. She's a research director at the Centro Tecnologico AITIIP. And this technological center is also a partner in the BBI project called Barbara. The second speaker is Marcelo Soma. Marcelo is head of global business development and center of expertise at FatterSmart, business unit part of the big group Procter & Gamble. And his organization is also partner in the BBI project Embraced. The third speaker is Caterina Colozzano. Caterina is innovation manager at Imecal. And the Imecal is a partner in the BBI project Urbiofilm. So that's for the speaker. Each of them will introduce their company, their organization, and the BBI project in which they are partners. And you will see three very different and interesting business cases with different experience and different learnings. This session will last in total 1 hour and a half, around 15 minutes for each speaker, and then we will have the Q&A session at the end. So no question from the audience immediately after each presentation, but please send your questions already, and my colleague Antonella will compile them. Now, back to the three speakers. The first business case that will be presented is a model turning a lab-scale research concept into growth-oriented market opportunity to use food waste in 3D printing and for automotive industry. The second business case is about a novel biorefinery facility in pilot scale, which effectively demonstrate to maximize the feasibility of municipal solid waste used to produce consumer products such as plastic bags, biofuels, paints, and fertilizer. And the third business scale will present how the involvement of the industrial stakeholder and brand owners can influence local authorities and policymakers to overcome the regulatory obstacles, and there is a lot in this area, and change the legislation on the use or recycling of urban bio-waste and specific waste. So to support me to prepare and moderate the session, I am accompanied by Elina Zickman, Communication Officer at BBI, together with Albert Sanchez and Agnese Olmati, Communication Assistant. And Antonella Canalis is also with us today. She's Project Officer in the BBIJU, and she will manage the Q&A session. So now a few words about BBIJU. So BBIJU is a public-private partnership between the European Union, represented by the European Commission, three DGs, the DG RTD, the DG Agri, and the DG Grow. The other partner, the private partner, is BIC, the Bio-Based Industry Consortium that represents the bio-based sector in Europe, a sector quite fragmented with a lot of actors from different sectors. So this initiative has a huge and ambitious budget of 3.7 billion of euro, overall 25% coming from the European Commission and 75 others coming from the private sector, so their financial contribution. And this budget is used to support a research and innovation program for the bio-based industry, with for objective to develop sustainable and competitive bio-based industries in Europe based on advanced biorefineries that will source their biomass in a sustainable manner. And all this is supported by a strategic innovation and research agenda, which is published, which was developed by the industry, the need for the industry, approved by the European Commission, and implemented by the BBIJU. Three main objectives for the initiative. The first one is to de-risk investment at research and innovation level, but also for the deployment of biorefinery. And you will hear certainly a lot from our speakers about that. The second objective is to reach the critical mass, because we know in this sector that not a set of companies or regions can achieve this ambition. That's why it had to be at the European level. And the third objective is to organize and structure the value chain. And you will see again here that the value chain related with organic fraction of the municipal solid waste is not so easy, because it involves actors from different sectors. So this mobilization of actors, this organization of the value chain supported by collaborative research is really essential. So the program is ambitious, but the expected impact of the sector is huge as well. You can see at the bottom left of this slide, by 2030, it's expected that the sector contribution will be 50% reduction of greenhouse gas emission, more than 20% increase of the biomass supplies, 25% increase of unused source, and unused source is typically the organic fraction of municipal solid waste, with a huge potential, but a lot of challenges and risk as well. At the end, it's expected to have 30% of replacement of fossil-based product by their bio-based equivalent, and have in the market 10 times more bio-based product as compared to the situation at the beginning of the BBIJU. So that's for the impact. Where are we today with the BBIJU? So we can say that from feedback received from stakeholders, that BBI is recognized rather as a success, but also we know that we are not there yet, and there are still a lot that needs to be achieved, in particular in terms of biodiversity protection, the safeguard of ecosystem, and the direct contribution to climate mitigation. In the specific area of municipal waste, we know there is a huge potential, but we are not satisfied where we are today. Just for example, we don't have yet a flagship biorefinery funded by the program, which is really the final expected achievement of the program. Last year, a common vision of the circular biosociety in 2050 was published. This vision described a sustainable and competitive bio-based industry in Europe that will enable a circular biosociety to be fully operational by 2050. This vision was developed by BIC, the Bio-Based Industry Consortium, the private partner in the BBIJU, in collaboration with 15 organizations covering all the sector of the bioeconomy, including the municipal waste and waste management companies. And the perspective behind this vision has a name. The name is CBE, Circular Bio-Based Europe, which is the possible successor of the BBIJU under Horizon Europe, the next framework program. Why the successor? Because currently BBI is closing its last call. The organization will continue until 2024, but the possible successor will be CBE, Circular Bio-Based Europe, with in the name of circularity. So I will not go into the detail, but what I can say, the focus on waste valorization, waste management, and circularity will remain. So that's it for where we are with BBI. Now let's come back to our session, and let me introduce again a bit in the context. So the title of the session is Municipal Solid Waste as an Opportunity for New Business Model in the Circular Economy. You know, our society generates a vast amount of urban waste on a daily basis. Considering the inevitable growing population concentrated in big cities, waste management is really becoming one of the most challenging problems of our society. Currently, municipal waste are mainly landfilled or incinerated. However, around 50% of urban waste correspond to organic fraction on those which for a little part only is composted or fermented in anaerobic digestion to produce biogas. But this organic fraction contains very interesting molecules to recover and convert it into a variety of valuable consumer products or compounds for industrial applications. To address this, the BBIJU encourage the bio-based industry stakeholders to move away from linear economic system by using waste as feedstock to contribute to circular resource and energy efficient economic model. So this session today will address the potential of municipal solid waste management strategies to follow in order to achieve a sustainable and innovation-driven economy in Europe. In particular, three different aspects regarding the valorization of organic municipal waste will be highlighted by our speakers. You will see the potential is huge. The models are fully circular and sustainable, but the business case encounter important challenges and risks, technological challenges, of course, but also challenges linked with the complexity of the value chains in terms of sourcing, and finally, a regulatory framework, which, as you will see sometime, may be a bit too restrictive. So now I will give the floor to the first speaker, and the first speaker is Berta Gonzalvo. Berta, the floor is yours.
Morning. Thank you very much, Philippe. Thank you, SOF organization, for inviting us. And thank you, of course, to my colleagues in the panel and to the audience. I really appreciate your efforts and participation, and in name of course, Barbara Project. I would like to introduce shortly my entity. ITIP is a private technology center. We are involved in the research and development activities, and of course in innovation, mainly in processes and materials, covering the whole value chain of plastics, and our headquarters are here in Zaragoza in Spain. We are offers collaboration in two levels, one in R&D, mainly two pillars, circular bioeconomy, totally of course aligned with the issue today, and digitalization. And as you are going to see as well that Barbara Project is totally connected as well with this point. The second level is advanced technology services on process, in product engineering, mold and tooling development, of course 3D printing. We are in the market, we are pioneers in 3D printing in Europe during the last 20 years, and other plastics and composite processes transformation for all kinds of industries. Transport, including aeronautics, automotive, railway, infrastructures, packaging, more or less the plastic is in all the industries. ITIP is one of the leading entities in green economy transition in Spain and with European and international impact. At the moment, we are running 8 BBI funded projects, and the 60% of them are being coordinated by our entity, IT. Not only we are participating in BBI, we are participating in other public-private partnerships as Factories of the Future, Clean Sky, and other competitive calls in Horizon 2020, and in other R&D programs in Europe, like LIFE, Erasmus, and others. I would like to encourage you to visit our project websites and following up the project results in the social media, Twitter accounts, and so on. And of course, in case you can contact with us directly. Some pictures are worth than 1,000 words. And of course, this is a summary of our facilities, and you are very welcome to visit us in Zaragoza or virtually in our YouTube channels and so on. Then let's go directly to Barbara project. That is the key point of our presentation today. The main motivations of this project, the concept of the project were four. One, the food waste. I really get impressed with the data coming from the Food and Agricultural Organization, found about a third of the food produced in the world for human consumption, around 1.3 million tons per year, goes to waste. The second, we are a fan of bioplastics, and of course, we are fan about the social benefits of them. The third, our knowledge in the key enable technology, 3D printing, advanced manufacturing, digitalization. And the fourth and the last, of course, the challenging objectives of having biomaterials with engineering properties valid for the industry, and of course, to be used in their exploitation. Barbara project aims to develop 4 new biomaterials, and these are engineering functionalized biopolymers reinforced with bioadditives to achieve customized physical, chemical properties and validate those materials through additive manufacturing in one of the technologies, infused filament fabrication in wires, okay, and in 2 key sectors in Europe, automotive and building. For developing this task, we participate 5 industrial companies, 2 of them SMEs, and 5 research centers. This is a schematic summary of all the steps involved in the project, starting from the organic waste as a feedstock, like this, okay, like this broccolis, lemon, almond, and pomegranate, sorry, because it's seasonal, and we have the opportunity to have it here. And of course, on the one hand, the chemical extraction and functionalization of natural dyes, biomordants, antimicrobials, and essential oils for these wastes, for this feedstock. And we extract these points with using microwave-assisted extraction. These compounds have been used as main additive in order to convert the biopolymer in filaments with very high added value properties. On the other hand, we extract valuable compounds coming from corn with supercritical water extraction use. Starches was obtained and purified in order to be used as main biocomponents to be added into biopolyamide. Once all the bio-based compounds were extracted, the different master batches and blends were prepared in the processes, extruding filaments that are the materials to be ready to go to the next step, the 3D printing. I'm going to show you a video about the 3D printer that we customize and prepare in IT in order to develop this this prototype fascia for the automotive sector. Mainly, we develop a new technology with this 3D printing machine in order to avoid one of the main barriers, main problems in additive manufacturing. That is the connection, the adhesion between layers because the process, as you can see in the video, is depositing this filament layer by layer, and then the part have a solid consolidation in one product. Okay. Of course, hours, months of research, preparing and adapting the materials, the conditions of the process in order to adjust the process and optimize with successful results, as you can see. So, these are the prototypes that we prepare and build during the project development with successful validation by the industry. A part and a mold. A part of some parts, as you can see, and a mold. Two different products, okay? Mainly, the point challenge is the mechanical, the thermal, and the aesthetic performance. On the left, we can see the automotive prototypes, a door, handle, as you can see here, and the parts that I show you to confer fascia, that is a part of the dashboard of a car, okay? With different colors, fragrances, and textures. And in the right, we have the construction prototype, a specific 3D RTM mold with a specific mandrel with a very complex joint shape that is one of the bigger structures and truss section in construction. Very complex geometry that have never been validated in 3D printing. Then you can see, that Barbara has contributed to the strategic innovation and research agenda, the SIRA, in several KPI, creating two value chains. The first one is settle these direct final parts with the mentioned properties, and the second, molds and tools for hybrid manufacturing, extracting molecules which are considered building blocks, developing new bioplastics, and fabricating and validating the new bio-based products. And of course, you have here the key exploitable results of the projects, including formulation of bioadditives from agro-wastes, functionalized bio-based filaments for 3D printing processes that I showed you previously, and a spatial heating device for the 3D printer machines in order to improve this layer adhesion in the final 3D printing parts with industrial application. Barbara project is a clear example of how solid waste can be transformed into new business cases based in circular bioeconomy. Thanks to BBI, thanks to the European Commission to contribute to this fruitful collaboration between European partners, complementary knowledge during 3 years. In Barbara, using the different extraction methods, we have transformed solid agricultural and urban waste into additives for commercial biopolymers, achieving unique new biopolymers that can be applied in innovative industry ecosystems. To sum up, Barbara project has been very successful, but we need still to keep going to bring this project closer to the industry and of course to the society. Our next goal is to get, cross the fingers, a demo project which will allow us to scale up all these processes and materials to semi-industrial scale. And in order to achieve it had been developed a business plan for these key exploitable results to demonstrate the feasibility of the process and the investment that we need and is required to go to this scale phase. What is expected to return, of course, in new jobs that, of course, we are going to create and growth in our industries and in our society. I just explained you what is our next step. This is a short term, but there are some other steps that we need to take into account in order to make projects like Barbara real in the society. There is need regulations, labeling, policies, legal, standardization, let's call of them the synergies, and the generation of new jobs profiles based in these R&D developed skills. That cannot be done without the help of the European Commission and, of course, all the organizations around and the support this greener Europe. Once that takes place, the final step would be, as Philippe mentioned, a flagship project with industrial investment to reach the market and the society to make circular bioeconomy a reality. In order to achieve these goals, we need programs like the Next Call Horizon Europe and Green Deal, of course. We need partnerships like BBI, Joint Undertaking, which can push regulation, policies, and standardization, and all these synergies that I just mentioned. In short, we need European investment, not only money, we need resources as well to achieve this real circular bioeconomy. To sum up, 5 pillars from our point of view: innovation, education, these synergies, investment opportunities, and finance. And that's all from my part. Of course, I give you the link to the Barbara project, and we really appreciate to see you in our final conference in 1 month, the 6th of October. And of course, you are very welcome to attend and, of course, listen our partners to explain all the developments in this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Berta. I think it was a wonderful presentation, really, of how can be organized a value chain to valorize municipal waste. What is interesting as well is that we saw during the execution of your project, the interest of the car manufacturer here, Fiat Chrysler, and you know that in the last years, other car manufacturer joined the initiative, which is a very good indication. And last, I will certainly pass your last message about the continuity. Be sure about that. So thank you very much. Let me now introduce the next speaker, Marcelo Soma from Fater Smart. Marcelo, the floor is yours. Please unmute your mic.
Thank you very much, Philippe. And first of all, I want to thank you, Philippe, and I want to thank the organizer of the ESOF conference. It's a tremendous honor to be here with you today. I prepared a few slides to support the presentation of the project that I'm here to represent. But before I go into the description of the project, I think it's appropriate that I tell you a couple of words about my organization, also because the name Fater Smart will not mean much to the participants to this panel. Fater Smart is, first of all, a business unit of a company called Fater, which is a joint venture between Procter & Gamble, which probably is known as one of the largest fast-moving consumer goods maker in the world, and Gruppo Angelini, which is an Italian pharmaceutical group with a broad branch of activities spanning many countries around the world. These two companies together 50-50 own Fater. And what does Fater do? Fater is the market leader in Italy for the production and the commercialization of absorbent hygiene products. Said differently, we are in the business of making diapers, so making nappies, with brands such as the ones that you see here, Pampers, Linus, which outside Italy is called Always, Tampax, and many other famous brands. More recently, the company Fater entered into the fabric and home care sector with the ownership of the famous bleach brand Ace, and many other fabric and home care brands across 39 countries. We are a large company. We are a consumer company, and that's why I think it's interesting today that I bring you the perspective of the fit between BBI and a brand owner like we are. About 10 years ago, the company decided that we wanted, for a set of reasons, to take responsibility for the most important aspect related to the end of the cycle of life of our products, which is its end of life. Every parent who has been involved with changing diaper to a baby has familiarity with the guilt feeling, which is normally accompanied to the process of changing a diaper. I recently stopped changing diapers to my younger son, and I was, really not excited about all the rubbish that I was producing. As a company that, with its brands, is market leaders in every market in which it competes, we decided it was our responsibility to transform what could have been a potential environmental liability into an additional source of competitive advantage. How? By betting on circularity and on bio-based circularity. This all started 10 years ago. In fact, we, after a lot of investments in R&D, we decided that we wanted to focus on the end of life more and more of the dollars that we were putting on R&D, and we did so because it was important to eliminate any potential environmental liability. To make a long story short, we also, with the help of European institutions and other co-funded European projects, we developed R&D technology to recycle diapers, to recycle post-consumer diapers. And we did that, and we arrived up to a point of demonstration. We then came in contact with BBI, and we understood that there was an even bigger opportunity, which was in putting together the bio-based world with the circularity that we were investing into. How? Well, diapers are still today mostly consisting of bio-based products such as cellulose, and that cellulose is a terrific second-generation feedstock material because there is no hemicellulose, there is no lignin. It's already been eliminated before the material went into making a virgin diaper, and throwing it away this material in a landfill or incinerating is simply a waste of resources to stay consistent with the theme of this working session. That's why we worked with many other partners, and you will see them on the next slides, and put together a project proposal which received co-funding from the BBI. The project code name is Embraced. We were funded in 2017. The project will last 5 years, so we are in the final years. 13 partners across 7 European countries. The project includes Fathersmart, of course. It includes many other Italian partners, but also includes Procter & Gamble, because we want, and includes all the players of the diaper value chain, from feedstock producer to material and product developer, to distribution, to selling, to recycling, and to utilization of the recycled secondary raw material. I shall say that, what do you do with a diaper once you have sterilized it and recovered it? Well, you recover cellulose, which is, as I said it already before, extremely valuable also because it's long fibers, extremely high absorbent. You recover plastics, which is one of the most, the best types of polyolefinic plastics, because that's the plastic, not because the magic of our recycling process, but mostly because the plastic that you put in a diaper is already of the highest quality, because it needs to withstand extremely thin calipers, and because it needs to be in contact with intimate skin. In light of all these, we have plastic and cellulose of great economic and technical value on top of the environmental value. But that's not all. There is also another material, which is the super absorbent polymer that diapers are made of, which has a great economic value once it is recovered. So what is the scope of Embrace? The scope of Embrace is to recover all the materials that the diapers is made of and transform the cellulose across thanks to two differentiated value chains, value chain A and value chain B, into two different opportunities. Bioplastics, in partnership with a company known in the world in the bio world, such as Novamont, so production of biopolymers from the cellulose, and on the other end, production of biostimulants, and again, bioplastics, PHB, via a proprietary process that first gasifies the cellulose and secondly use it as feedstock for a bacteria in a bioreactor that is then metabolized, produce biostimulants. Last but not least, the biorefinery model proposed by Embrace enables also to recover the wastewaters and to extract from the wastewaters of diapers urea, nitrogen, and phosphorus, so that at the end, it's really a cascading model where nothing gets thrown away. Now, why is this relevant? It is relevant because diapers, as I said, is a significant source of waste, and 3 to 4% of the municipal solid waste is actually made up of diapers. And when I mean diapers, I do not only mean baby diapers, but also include adult diapers. With the aging population in Europe, this is becoming more and more a relevant trend. Out of this 3-4%, to give you an idea, this means 1 million tons in one of the big 5 countries, such as Italy. So 1 million tons per year get landfilled or incinerated every year in a country like Italy. About 8.5 million in total European Union gets landfilled or incinerated every year. Coupled with this, there is on the positive side a growing trend of separate collection of diapers, which is the premise in order to make our model work, as you see on the left side on this slide. So AHP, absorbent hygiene product collection. So we need separate diapers collected in order for our model to work. And again, to give you an example, just in Italy, we have about 14 million citizens already served. So more than 1 out of 5 in this country served by separate collection of diapers, which is being offered to municipalities because is the price for reaching ever higher separate collection rate for municipal solid waste. So we exploit the infrastructure offered by municipality to separately collect the diapers. We recycle them thanks to our mechanical pre-treatment technology, which is based on sterilization and mechanical separation, which is already validated at industrial scale, as we will see. We recover SAP, superabsorbent polymer, plastics, and cellulose. And then the cellulose is sent to Novamont as a feedstock for bioplastics, or to our proprietary process for the production of biostimulants and PHP. Where are we? First of all, with the previous project, we had the demo plant operational for the pre-treatment phase out of 2015. Thanks to BBI, we have now reached full industrial scale validation of the first part of our process, which is the recycling for the production of the SAP, the plastics, and the cellulose, as shown on this slide, at 10,000 tons per year. And this is a product that is already ready, and we are already in the process of expanding it across Europe. It's active. Everybody's welcome to come and visit in the province of Treviso, northeast of Italy, 1 hour from Venice. And we are now expanding this technology that allows to produce cellulose, plastics, and superabsorbent polymer across the world. We already have 1 plant shipped to India, which will be installed beginning of next year. So this is already amplification of what BBI has allowed to achieve. But of course, we don't stop there. We don't stop there because this is the right thing to do for the environment. In this slide, what you can see is a comparison of the carbon footprint of recycling, so separate collection plus recycling, compared to purely incineration or diapers are sometimes incinerated, sometimes sent to landfill. You see 2 numbers on these slides that I would like to point out. First of all, in the green column, the recycling column, there is a minus before the total number, which means that the recycling of the diapers is carbon negative, i.e. it avoids more emissions than what the process itself produces. Again, this means that it's technically like planting trees. And second, the delta between recycling and incineration, or recycling and a business as usual scenario, is extremely large in favor of recycling. So it is the right thing to do from the environmental standpoint, and it's industrially validated from an economic standpoint. That's why we were now in the expansion phase for this part of the project. But we haven't stopped there. At month 36, the key achievements that I would like to point out are that thanks to P&G and TerraCycle and FaterSmart, we have successfully validated a direct-to-consumer collection service of AHP waste. So we have developed so-called smart bins, which are now installed in the city of Amsterdam. And consumers can go by these smart bins. They download an application on their smartphone. With this smartphone, they go close to the smart bin without touching anything, which is particularly important in a COVID environment. The smart bin opens itself up, so the gate opens, and they can convert the diapers, the used diapers, the waste. This waste is then weighed, and the weight of the used diapers is transformed into an incentive, economic or environmental, for the citizen that has played his part in helping the environment. So this has been successfully validated in Amsterdam, and because of the roaring success in Amsterdam, we have now expanded to the city of Verona in Italy, and more cities are on the pipeline. As I said, we have an upgraded pre-treatment plant, which is now compliant with the Italian end-of-waste criteria, which have been published in the meanwhile, and this is up and running in Italy. We have successfully validated application for plastic and SAP, and for bio-based polymers from the Novamont value chain. Our dream is to produce a flexible packaging for diapers, which comes from the cellulose of what was once a diaper. That's the final vision. And we also been able to successfully extract PHB samples from the proprietary value chain bin. Last but not least, I'd like to highlight, what I think have been the key contributions of BBI. We couldn't have done this alone, as simple as that. We could not have done this as simple as alone, because one thing that we have learned is that you do not do circular economic projects or bio-based circular economic projects on your own. It doesn't matter how big you are as a company, you need to have partners across the value chains. And on top of the financial contribution, the key value for us in the BBI project has been the partnership. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Marcelo. Again, a very good presentation of how is the complexity to build a value chain, multi-actor. I think an important element was also to bring on board municipalities, because they are a key actor there. And again, it was a very good demonstration on how to really put in the reality the zero waste biorefinery concept, as well as the cascading approach. So very successful for the future. And now I will introduce the third and last speaker for today, Caterina Col-Lozano, who is Innovation Manager at IMECAL. So Caterina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Philippe. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank Philippe and the BBI Undertaking team just to invite us to present you the review project, and of course the Euroscience Open Forum. And I would like to congratulate my panelist colleagues, Berta and Marcelo, for its wonderful presentation. Now it's the turn or introduce my company and the Urbiofilm project that, as Philippe said, is based in the Municipal Solid Waste opportunity and the biorefinery bed for the circular bioeconomy. Then, first of all, I would like to introduce my company. IMECAL is a medium company located in the east of Spain, and it's a metal mechanical engineering company that develop projects and processes for different sectors. Then since 10 years ago, we started in working in waste projects with the aim just to develop processes based in circular economy. At the first, based mainly in the bioenergy and advanced fuels, and in the last years we start, thanks to the BBI grants and help, to focus in bioproducts. Then we're specialized in this complex matrix that is bio-waste, different bio-wastes, municipal solid wastes, the organic fraction, and cellulosic wastes, just to produce advanced fuels, bioproducts, and bioenergy. We are working in different projects. Both of them are granted by the BBI in order to extract all the value for the municipal solid waste to produce valuable bioproducts. Then IMECAR has a big demonstration plant that have laboratories in which we can optimize the processes. And after this, we can scale up these processes towards semi-industrial plant, because the aim of IMECAR and the Paseo biorefinery is to scale up the processes and to implement these processes in the market, just to give value to the wastes that every day we are producing in our houses. Then today we are here to speak about waste. Then Philip told some figures at the beginning, but we need to have in mind that in the world we are generating 1.3 million tons of of municipal solid waste day by day, and it's expected to double this quantity of waste that we produce in 6 years. There we are speaking about a big problem, or a big challenge, or a big opportunity. In our case, we think that it's a big opportunity, because in Europe we are producing 250 million tons of waste, and of them we have around 100 million tons of municipal solid waste, and only 1/3 of this waste was separately collected. In the last years, we are increasing this quantity that is separately collected, but a big part of them are composted or digested. Then we have here the challenge, and the challenge of the UrBioFund project. By UrBioFund project, it's a demo project that will implement an integrated innovative biorefinery for transformation of this organic municipal solid waste into new bio-basic products. That is, as I said, was granted by the BBI and the Duration 2020 program. Then what we propose? We propose a new model of organic fraction of municipal solid waste treatment. Now this model is based in landfilling, composting, or anaerobic digestion processes. And we want to introduce new modules in these processes, just to change from the traditional one to a new one that is based in the biorefinery concept, the urban biorefinery concept, to obtain multiple bioproducts, and of course higher value bioproducts from the waste, and that boost the bioeconomy, and of course based in the circular economy. Then what's the challenge of the UrBioFund project? Our challenge is that we are treating 10 tons per day of the organic fraction of municipal solid waste in our urban biorefinery, to obtain different intermediates and final products. We obtain different intermediates as bioethanol as a chemical building block, volatile fatty acids, and biogas that we use in our biorefinery to obtain other more added value products as biopolymers, PHAs, and combined PHA, short and medium chain PHA, that we transform in different bioplastics for different sectors, and additives as bioethylene and biochemical products as biofertilizers or biostimulants. The aim of the project is just to extract all the value from the waste to arrive to the zero waste concept. Here we can see the structure of the biorefinery. We have three different modules in our biorefinery. The module 1 is based in biochemical processes and fermentation processes. We get the organic fraction of the municipal solid waste and do a fermentation process in which we obtain bioethanol, and we transfer this bioethanol in a bioethylene through thermochemical processes, and this bioethylene is used in the project for fluid repairing. As you can see in the scheme, we have different modules that are interconnected because we are using all the flows of the biorefinery. In the second module, we are obtaining the bioethanol that we produce in the first module, and of course the residue, the fermentation process, to an anaerobic digestion platform of 2 stages, and we obtain volatile fatty acids that through elongation and enrichment processes we obtain medium and short chain PHA that we transform in bioplastics for agriculture and cosmetic uses that are going to be validated in the process, in the market for our industrial project partners. And the third module is based in a biogas platform in which we produce a biogas from the second stage of the anaerobic digestion, and through different microalgae and PHA production and extraction processes, we obtain short chain PHA that are used as well in cosmetic bioplastics, and the residues that we produce in the biorefinery are transformed in solid and liquid fertilizers. This is the whole scheme of the biorefinery, just to always focus and extract all the maximum value of the organic fraction of municipal solid waste. We have three demo sites in the European project. The first one is located in Valencia, in the nickel facilities, the Tercio Biorefinery plant. The second one is located in Zaragoza, in the Urbacer Centro Alfonso Mayo Center. And the third one is located in Castilla-La Mancha, in IRIAF facilities. In each center, are specialized in different parts of the processes, just to have a complete biorefinery, an integrated biorefinery. Well, at this moment, we define the feedstock characteristics. We define the processes and improve the different processes just to put all together, and the logistics of the process. And at this moment, we are pushing the button and starting the demo activities just to validate what we obtain in a small scale. We are doing the starting process now, and we had good results in the first stage, but we need to maintain these results on the time. Well, I would like to do my final reflection about the biorefinery value proposition, and to bet for this model, as the BBI is doing during all this live, that is to boost this concept. Why we have to bet for a biorefinery? Well, in our opinion, because with these models, changing the last models to these new ones, we will have higher annual benefits. In the case of municipal solid waste, if we compare the current model for the new one model, we obtain more profitability to explore these installations. We are improving the process, because we are going to the zero waste. and decreasing the waste that is going to the landfill. And all this is aligned with the waste directive, the Municipal Solid Waste Directive. We are having in account that the waste is a resource, and we have more versatility because we are not producing only one product. We are obtaining a lot of products that have different prices on the market, and we can see which is the best one for a region or for our area. Of course, as all you know, Europe is fossil dependent. Then in this way, we are reducing the dependency of Europe for the fossil fuel resources. We can obtain our own fuel resources, and of course, we boost the competitiveness in the area, increasing the economic growth and generating new jobs for the specific areas in which is installed this biorefinery. And this is the partnership. I would like to thank all the companies because they are working so hard in the project in this last year. And I like to, sorry, I don't know why. Pass this. You can, if you want to know more the project, here you can visit our webpage. You can follow us in the social media, and or you can send us an email and we answer your question as soon as we can. I would like to thank again the BBI to believe in this project and to support us during the last years in the project. And I would like to say that our company and of course the consortium is betting for a biorefinery from waste. And that's all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Katrina. Again, a very good model on showing the complexity of the value chain and the need to have key actors at each level. But what I find also very interesting in this case is when you look back historically where the main valorization, if I may, of organic fraction of municipal solid waste was compost, so that you had fertilizer. Here we can really see the cascading approach with higher added value, first with biogas not simply burned, but also stopping the anaerobic digestion at the level of volatile fatty acid that can be transformed in other added products. So it also shows that the profitability of a business case, the success of a business case is never focusing only on one valorization, but a set of valorization. But of course, which also adds to the complexity. So very interesting again. Thank you very much. It was our last presentation for today. Now I will give the floor to Antonella Canalis, my colleague of BBI, who has collected the question from the audience during the presentation. So Antonella, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Philippe. Thank you also to all the speakers, to these distinguished speakers for this really nice presentation, interesting presentation. These were interesting also because they show how innovation can be brought to the market. And I like one comment when it was said that sometimes innovative ideas come from challenges, and this is the way to have a competitive advantage. This session on question and answer is meant to have the audience involved in the discussion, but also for the speakers to share ideas, experience, and facts. I invite still the audience to put some questions and to specify to whom this question will be addressed. Let me start to animate the discussion. And also related to the comment that was made, these projects are partnership, where the involvement of partners, different partners, are necessary. And this is the question that I receive for Berta. How the municipalities need to be involved in the projects in order to make this project successfully, and which are the results potentially of these agreements or sort of alliance with the municipalities. Please, Berta.
Thank you, Antonella. Thank you for the question. It's key to have all the stakeholders on board as partner, or at least as a stakeholder in the stakeholder panel, or as advisory board, or as a figure, okay, to monitorize the results of the research activities, because in our case, mainly in Barbara, this is a RIA project, this is a research project with TRL quite low. And of course, the RTOs and the R&D teams of the industries are very concentrated during the project development in the research results, okay? But we need to connect totally with the really needs of the municipalities, really needs, in our case, of the cooperatives as well, and at the end to the society, to the final consumers and the final users of all the results in the project. Then not only it's a lesson learned from Barbara that it's crucial even to involve these stakeholders from the beginning. From the beginning, to focus the idea, to focus the results, the deliverables, the reports, and of course to share with them the non-confidential information in order to have an open discussion and modulate and regulate the results. It's in our point of view, from our point of view, it's very fruitful to have them on board. In our case, as I said, we have involved a cooperative with different players there and different views. And in other projects, we involve directly the municipality through the managers of the wastes, or even people in the municipality board to offer the vision from the policy and even from the citizens' needs. This point is good as well to mention, because it's totally connected as well, not only with the R&D results, it's connected to the communication of our results to the general public. It's important to connect that the money that in this case, the BBI, the European Commission, the big members, the participants are putting in the research activities are connecting with the citizens, with us, okay? It's important from the scientific people to connect to the general public through general communications, and then the municipalities have a good point as well in this point, because they usually have open websites to the general public. They have activities during the year to the open public, and we can show the R&D results directly to the citizens. It's a good point.
Thank you very much, Berta. So my next question will be for you, Marcello. So, yeah, you said that partnerships are so fundamental that entrepreneurs cannot be left alone. There is, I believe, somehow a risk also of, decreasing the risk of failure. So, in this sense, Marcello, what do you expect based on the embrace experience from the policymakers? We cannot hear you, Marcello, sorry.
Sorry, I was on mute again, sorry. Thank you for the question. What do we expect from the policymakers? We expect clarity in the regulatory field, and we expect a regulatory domain which is not updating itself slower than the technological development. Few times along the story of Embrace, we have found ourselves in the situation where technology was too much ahead compared to the regulatory status quo. And just to give you an example, we have invested millions and millions in the Contarina plant, in the plant in partnership with our Treviso partner to produce the cellulose, the SAP, and the plastics that I mentioned. And for years, it was not clear what level of governance was supposed to issue the so-called end-of-waste criteria, which are the criteria according to the European Waste Framework Directive, in virtue of which a waste stops being a waste and becomes a secondary raw material. And without a waste stopping to be a waste, there is simply no circular economy. At the moment, we finally have them for Italy, but there are 26, 27 other countries in Europe for which we don't have them yet. And we need to have Europe stepping up, to be very honest, on this at the regulatory level and issuing Euro-wide criteria, because otherwise this will be at the detriment of goods circulation in Europe.
So if I can translate, we need a more harmonized approach also to allow possible replication of your business model. Is this correct?
Absolutely correct. Very well said.
Thank you very much, Marcello. And I would like also to put the same question to Caterina. So from your experience, what do you expect as well from policymakers?
Hello, thank you, Antonella, for the question. I think that I'm totally agree with Marcello. The main point at this moment, we are speaking about waste, is the end of waste criteria, because in the waste directive, if you transform the waste in waste, is waste, then we need to know when the waste stops to be waste and be an intermediate or a final product. Then it's important for the bioproducts coming from waste to be commercialized, to have clear this point. We need to push in order to have clear, because in some, for example, for biofertilizers, and other bioproducts, they are now. Europe is working in the end of waste criteria. But for example, for bioplastic, for biochemicals, it's not clear. Then it's important to know that we are producing something that can be sold as a product. This is the first, totally agree with Marcello. And the second one is the customer's acceptance, because we are producing a bioproduct from waste. Then it's important the certifications or some standards for bioproducts, because to have clear and to give security to the consumer that is consuming something that is good for them. Then I think that it's important, because have standards, it's more clear for products that are now in the market, but for new bioproducts that are not in the market, we need security, just to assure that the consumer is consuming something that is sure for them. Then I think that these both points are important, just to push the bioeconomy from waste.
Thank you, Caterina. And now from the feedstock, we move to the final products. So for a normal consumer thinking about to buy a product that comes from municipal solid waste or from diapers might be difficult, no? I would, not knowing, about this project, I would have some problems in thinking to buy some products that come from waste. So there is the need to convince the consumers about the benefits of the bioproducts stemming from the waste. What is for you, and this is a question for all of you, the approach to follow in order to also convince consumers? Because at the end of the day, these are the, the ones that define the success of your initiative. For you, Berta, to start, thank you.
Thank you, Antonella. Yes, you are totally right. Even connect with my answer to the first question. From a point of view, and I personally feel that consumers now, in 2020, have total information about sustainability trends, the things that are connected with eco design, and even young people study in their degrees, in their professional masters, and so on, subjects and skills connected to sustainability. Of course, not all the efforts have done, but it's connected to education as well. It's something that we need to start to make influence, and from the beginning, from the schools, to talk about these points, to connect the needs and to offer the solutions that we are developing, the scientific community and the industries that believe that these kind of products have sense because, first of all, are profitable, and have sense because they are sustainable. Then it's, as I said, it's totally important to have a clear communication, education, and of course, as Caterina said, it's important to have visual labels, visual information to the consumers to start to create memory about the benefits of this kind of products. It's not only a product, it's to talk about the history. It's part of the point. And we have some examples of people that introduce in a market, for instance, eco product, and they are using not bioplastics, or they are not using a recyclable material in some part of the packaging or in some part of the product. And as soon as I start the communication of this product in order to increase the incomes, they connect with television or whatever to talk about the product, and citizens notice that some part of this total product is not totally sustainable. Then people start to have the influence of this new trend, this eco and greener Europe. Then it's important to make efforts in all our R&D projects to connect to this, to the citizens, to the society in our messages, and translate all the high-level technical and scientific information to everybody, in order to create this history and, of course, to stimulate the sales of this kind of products in the near future.
Also, maybe involving also consumer association, when build consortium and partnership, maybe they can help.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I fully agree to involve people with a view, a general view from other point of the vision, to suggest us if we need to modify any words in the keywords in the messages, or even to translate, as I said, this high advanced level of materials, processes, and so on, to a general language, and of course supported by this policy, supported by this legislation, supported by this certification and level, but and train people in our companies, train people in our industries about all these new materials and processes, because at the end, if we train our people in the companies, they are going to come to their houses and talk about it and start to talk with their children about this kind of products and processes. Then it's important to do that.
Thank you, Berta. We have 10 minutes and maybe other possible questions. Please, Marcello, the answer to your question, to my question, pardon.
Yeah, thank you, Antonella. I agree, fundamentally I agree with Berta. I say 3 words, which are research, education, and design. Research, because research your markets. I mean market research, because where consumers might not be ready in a certain market, but might be ready in a neighboring market. Just to give you an example, we have, as the Fater company, we have very recently, in fact, relocated to a new fancy building, and we have furnished the patio of the company with chairs made with plastics from diapers, with our embraced technology. And that's where people have their lunch at the moment in the canteen. Instead of going to the canteen, they go to the patio and sit on our chairs. And on the chair is written, "Once I was a nappy." So there is no problem at all for them to sit on what was once a nappy. That's a real market test. Let's put it like this. Maybe if you put the same materials into a new diaper, they could have some issues instead. So it's really about researching what market is ripe and what market is not ripe for your bio innovation. The second word is education. I think we all need to get better at communicating to consumers the benefits of the bio products, and the third is design. Usually that's my plea is always try to make them look beautiful, better, because sometimes recycled products or bio products tend to look uglier than the fossil alternative. So I don't know if it helps, but that's usually my 3 words on this are red: research, education, and design.
Thank you, Marcello. And you, Caterina, what do you believe should be?
Thank you. I agree with Berta and Marcello. At the beginning of the project, we thought which are the markets from the very product, because we are producing different bioproducts that can be used for different markets. Then we decided to go to not food and pharma markets, because our products comes from waste. Then I think that we have a strong argument that is we are producing bioproducts from bio waste, but we need to, as my colleagues say, to give messages to the society and to give security to them that we are producing something that they can use. And linked with the question that you asked before, Antonella, we need the certification. If we obtain one bioproduct that is certificated and say this is works well for this application, it don't mean from which came from. It which came from waste, crops, and another biomass, because if you have a certification, these bioproducts, it's okay for the final use. Now, I think that this is the point, to give security to the consumers through a certification, and of course, education, give messages from the bioproducts, but we need to see the security of the final consumer and give security to them. I think it's my point of view. Just to add something to the other that the other partners say.
So we still need to build the bridges between the different parts of the society. So I will move to my last question. and the question that came is for Embrace. In which areas do you think the Embrace model, which is valorizing diapers, could be copy and paste in for other kind of waste? What do you see, Marcello?
Wow, it's very fascinating. I think there is a lot of organic bio waste that is still not utilized or underutilized. We went to look into a diaper to find quite a bit. But I think there is a lot in residual waste that goes lost with the residual waste, with the black bin.
Obviously, different waste requires different technologies. So there is still a lot to be done in research and technological development.
Right.
One question from Berta. Thank you, Marcello. These biopolymers that you developed in the frame of Barbara project can be used for other 3D printing in other sectors. And it comes to my mind, for example, the medical sector, where the 3D printing is funding new ways, new avenues. We have 4 minutes, so please.
Yes, thank you, Antonella. Yes, of course, yes, indeed, these materials can be used in other sectors. We were motivated to connect Barbara project with automotive and with construction because the market numbers in Europe was more impact in these sectors as soon as we start with the preparation of the proposal, and of course because they are 2 industries very representative in Europe, not only in turnover, of course, in employees and society. Then we selected these industries for the engineering properties that they need for the parts and for the molds. In case of on the parts, connected to the aesthetical point of view as well, as you say, Marcelo, it's important the design, the final design, and appreciate that is aesthetical. Then in automotive, the consumer needs to feel that the parts in the car are aesthetical, are good. And on the other hand, in building, because the mechanical needs are very high. Okay, the temperature to be processed, the thermal resistance is important, and so on. But of course, we have in the business case and the exploitation plan other industries. In fact, PLA, the first bio-based material that is used in 3D printing, is for all kinds of industries, and from the creative industry to the health industry, of course, having the right certifications to do that. Yesterday, for instance, I have a discussion with our regional health entity talking about how to transfer these biomaterials to these needs, for instance, for medical devices or for other applications. The compound annual growth of bioplastics is growing. Then 3D printing is growing as well, totally connect with other industries, as I said. And it's important as well, this kind of materials for the new and insipid and potential concept that is for printing, not only 3D printing. And that's all, Antonella. Only 1 minute left. The mute.
Sorry, I was saying just this is about spreading innovation, and I leave the last 40 seconds to Philippe. Thank you. All the discussion was really fascinating. Thank you very much. Good work. Philippe, to you back.
Thank you, Antonella. What to say? There were so many messages and learnings today, but for me, this session really highlights the need to focus on municipal waste valorization. First of all, because there is a huge potential. It shows that we can turn a problem into an added value solution, but it also shows the complexity in terms of value chain actors. So you have been facing that, you face that, but you also show the huge potential. Good news is that there are technical solutions. There are technical solutions and applications. So was a wonderful moment. Thank you very much to all speakers. Thank you to my colleagues from BBI. Thank you very much for the very professional organization. And my last word for the audience, despite the fact that we cannot see you, it's a real pity. So no networking around a cup of coffee after this session, but look forward to another occasion in the future. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.